on, guys? It seems like this is the video everyone's kind of been waiting for, asking for an audit of a website. So we're going to go through. I haven't spent any time looking at this website, and we're going to go through and do a full audit to kind of give an idea of things that could be better from a website design perspective. And then we'll get in a little bit to what could be better from an SEO perspective. And if you don't know what SEO means, it means search engine optimization. And essentially it means how well you pop up at the top of Google and how well you can match your website to what people are searching on Google to then pop up. So that's kind of the idea here. So one thing I can just say right off the bat, we do these audits all the time, within our agency, but I'm on a really big screen just because I can work really well on a big screen. And as you can see, with it being on a big screen, this website is not very responsive, meaning what happens is everything gets distorted and it doesn't look normal. Whereas it's actually a really good website for a normal size screen. As we go down, you can see everything starts to look a little more normal. So that's kind of the first thing. We want to make sure that, and it probably doesn't matter that much, because most homeowners looking for a roofing company or most people looking for a roofing company, a lot of times they're on their phones anyways. So really we should probably be doing a mobile audit. But the point is, just from a general, user experience, we want to make sure that it looks good on any size screen. Now, in regard to the homepage, and you guys probably know, one of the things we're usually looking for is how much content is on this page. Usually we like to have 500 to 800 words of content just from an SEO perspective. Google doesn't actually care about the amount of content, but it does play into ranking because of how we're able to write content relative to different keywords. And keywords are things that people Google to find you. So roofer near me, roofing company in insert service area, etc. Things like that play a really big role. Now, I'm actually going to keep looking at it with like a normal size because I'm going to keep getting thrown off by everything being all wacky. One thing I like is that this form is right here at the top. So it makes it very easy for somebody who's interested to touch base with you. Usually we like to, I do like that, residential roofing, commercial roofing, siding and gutters. I like that. Usually we like to make sure we're asking the homeowner what they're interested in. A lot of times we'll get more detailed than this, whether it's a repair or a full replacement, or if they're unsure. A lot of people don't even know. They just want help. They want to get a free inspection so that they do know. So those are the types of options we usually include here. These phone numbers are good. I'd have to look to see if on mobile how easy it is to call. Yeah, that's easy. I think what I usually like to see is, I can move my face out of the way. Usually what I like to see is at the bottom of the screen, I like to give the option to click a button to call. So it would just be your phone number as a button to call. That makes it really easy for somebody when they're on their phone. Most people like to be on their phone with one. This might seem corny, but most people like to use one hand on their phone. And when that call button's at the bottom of the screen, it's way easier than trying to reach up to the top of the screen. So we do that. And another thing we like to do is we like to have the menu drop down at the bottom of the screen as well. It just makes everything easier for a homeowner or for a website user, really. So we like to look at that. Go back into the main screen here. Let's see what else we got. Professional roof replacement in the tri-state area. It's good. Did you know that replacing? In regard to content, that's pretty good content. We like to focus on the homeowner. A lot of people like to talk about themselves, and I think that's kind of the mistake people make with websites and their brand as a whole. It's like they want to make it all about them, but really what matters is who's actually going to be paying you the money. Well, it's going to be a homeowner or a business that needs a new roof or a roof replaced or whatever it might be. So you want to speak to them. Why would they choose you over somebody else is the big question. Services, testimonials. I'd like to see these testimonials higher up because, again, it goes back to it's about your customer. And your customer, just all they really care about when it comes to the industry is this company going to do a good job? Are they going to do things, quickly? And are they going to communicate with me very clearly? And am I going to get a good deal? Am I going to get ripped off by this company, or is it going to be a fair price? Maybe, I'm willing to pay maybe a little bit extra if they're going to do things quickly, give a good warranty, and offer really good service. Sure, I could pay a little bit extra, but I want to know I'm not getting ripped off. And that's where testimonials can come into play. It's like, hey, you can say how great you are, but your customers are going to say it better, and it's going to mean more, when your customers are the ones saying it. So that's valuable. I think that's kind of the general idea here. I think aesthetically there's a few things I would do differently. We don't usually like to see a massive header at the top. I do like that it gets smaller when you scroll. Just aesthetically, there's some things I'd change that I think could look nicer, but not a big deal in terms of performance. So I think it's worth getting into SEO now. So one of the first things that we do is we'll pull up a tool like Ahrefs, and Ahrefs gives us all the statistics on a website, especially from an SEO perspective, search engine optimization, how well you're popping up at the top of Google. Do you get traffic to your website? Do you not get traffic to your website? Do you get traffic to certain pages and not to other pages, etc.? So all we have to do here is copy the link, and then we can paste that link into this tool. Again, it's Ahrefs, Ahrefs is the site. And it's just a subscription that you can pay for, so it's nothing crazy. All right, so what we can see is we can see domain rating. This is essentially, it says it right here, the strength of your target's backlink profile compared to other websites in the database. So backlinks are when other websites in the industry link to your site. So the more of those you have from legitimate websites, the better Google is going to view you. They're going to view you as more authoritative, more of kind of like an expert in the industry, I guess. And then we have URL rating. So that's kind of the same thing in a way, but just on very specific pages of your website. And then we have kind of the big things here. We can see that, and this is not always 100% accurate. You have to look at special tools like Google Analytics that's connected directly to the site to get 100% accuracy. But we can see as a whole, this website does not get a ton of traffic. And odds are, I'm hoping that they haven't invested much money into ranking organically at the top of Google, meaning I hope they haven't invested much into SEO, because if they have, and if they've been doing it for a while, there's not much that's happening. Because the idea is you get traffic to your website from people who are looking for your services, and then they call you or they fill out a form. So that's the whole idea. It's not that traffic is inherently important. It's that traffic leads to, new leads, form fills, phone calls, and those form fills and phone calls lead to revenue. And that's why any of this even matters in the first place. But what we can do is we can actually see what keywords they pop up for. And this is very common when we see kind of like an average SEO or no SEO being done. Peak roofing, when people search peak roofing, okay, they pop up number one. This position here means number one. Or sorry, the position means the position that they're at on Google. And for peak roofing, they're number one, which is great. Now what we can see is when you see position 24, 15, 30, 24, etc., historically, position 24 would mean page 2 of Google. Now Google doesn't really do pages, but it means it's like the 24th thing, on Google. When you search for commercial roofing Cincinnati, they're 24 down. And usually what you'll see is that you don't get any traffic from being that low on Google. You can see they have one right here. We have traffic, peak roofing. They get 7 people a month to their website searching that. And then commercial roofing Cincinnati, they get like 1 person going to their site from that. So negligible at best. What I do like, though, is when people search commercial roofing Cincinnati, if they were to scroll down on Google and click on Peak Roofing's listing, that homeowner or that user would go to this page that talks about commercial roofing. Oh, I see. Okay. I like that they have a specific page for this service. What I would recommend is implementing something called an SEO, or what I call an SEO power page. So an SEO power page would specifically be, we would talk about commercial roofing in Cincinnati. So as opposed to just having a page talking about commercial roofing as a whole, we would want to make it specific to the location. And how we would know to do that is because we can see that commercial roofing Cincinnati is something that this part right here is volume. How many times a month on average this is searched on Google? It's around 100 times per month on average. So because of that, in my opinion, we should create a page on the website where all we talk about is commercial roofing in Cincinnati. Because the idea here is, if we make that page and we implement the right SEO strategies to rank that page, that odds are that page is going to be the most relevant page that's out there on the internet. When somebody searches commercial roofing Cincinnati, we will be the company to pop up because we have a whole page where all we talk about is commercial roofing in Cincinnati. So I think they're doing well. They're at position 24. I think the focus of this page should be commercial roofing Cincinnati, and that in itself would help out quite a bit in terms of ranking higher and then getting much more than just one person a month. And what's crazy about, for a search like this, if you can get, let's say you can get 20% of those 100 people a month searching it, that's 20 people to your site. If you can get 10% of them reaching out to you, okay, now you have 20% 20, two people reaching out. Like, I mean, a commercial roofing job could end up being something massive. So that's kind of the, in terms of revenue, that could be incredible. So there's actually opportunity here to do that, now. I would do that right now. If I was Peak Roofing, I would invest in making that page more so focused on Cincinnati for commercial roofing. The same thing with this commercial roofing. So I get that commercial roofing's a focus because you sell one job. I mean, you could spend 20 grand on SEO services, and that's okay if you close a job like this. So anyways, that's kind of the general idea here. You want to choose different keywords that are very specific to one service in one service area, and then you want to make a page on your website that all it talks about is that. That's kind of the big idea. So usually what we do for our clients is we'll do a bunch of research. Well, before we do research, we sit down with the client, we say, hey, what services do you want to sell more of? Which usually it's just generally like roof replacements, sometimes commercial roofing, things like that. And then the next question is, what areas do you want to sell these services in? Oftentimes that's different cities. Sometimes it's on a county level, but more commonly than not, it's cities. So now we're taking these services and we're taking these areas and we're building a bunch of what we call SEO power pages where all we talk about is that service in that area, and then we rank that page to the top of Google. And that's the big idea here, because when you do that for a bunch of different services in a bunch of different areas, or even the same service, roofing, in a bunch of different areas, now you're pulling leads from Google from a bunch of different areas. That's where the money's made. That's kind of the whole idea behind SEO and anything you do here. And there's a lot that goes into that. And if you guys, want to just kind of pick my brain, feel free to talk to me. Like, I give free advice all of the time. And some people, it doesn't make sense to spend the money to work with us at Rev Experts here, work with our team. But other people, it makes a lot more sense for them to pay us to do this and generate these leads for them compared to them doing it themselves, because it's a very time consuming process. So if that's you, feel free to reach out and we can have a conversation. I'll give you free advice. And if it makes sense to work with us, then that's awesome, for both of us. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope it's helpful. And I'd love for you guys to ask me more questions that I can give answers to. So just let me know. Take care, guys.